Hi everyone. So last week I had a section at the bottom of the page that went over a few little CSS tricks you could use when making layouts. So I just wanted to expand on those a little bit as part of our float discussion. So back using Dablet, I'm going to try to set up something that kind of looks like a row with 4 columns in it. This is something you'll see a lot in layouts. It's just kind of aligning these things next to each other. So first thing you want to do is make a div. And this div is going to be the container that holds all of our little stuff inside. So we'll have, div here. I'm just going to copy and paste. We'll do 4. So use case for this would be maybe you have a row of buttons or a row of links that go to some maybe like a portfolio details page or something like that. So this could be like one project you worked on. This could be another one, that kind of thing. All right. So you can see they're showing up over here as 4 different divs here. So they're blocks, so they're all going to go to their next row. All right, so I need to start styling these. A good naming convention to do something like this is add a class called row. And then on each of these, you could do something like col, which is a shortened form of column, since these are going to be 4 different columns inside this row. Copy and paste these over here. All right, so style that row a little bit so you can see it. So think about what by default would this look like. So it's a div, so it's going to take the full width of the container. So we don't really need to set a width, but set a background color so you can see where it's going. Okay, got this tomato here. Okay, so next we might want to start working on our columns. So we want them to be like one here, one here, one here, and one here, 4 in a row. So if this row is taking up 100% of the width of its container, these columns, let me do, we might want these to take up 25%, right? Because if this whole thing is 100%, 4 of them, each of them will be 25%. Okay, so now they're all in a row like this. So maybe I want to get them in a line, so by default they're block. Maybe I try something like display inline block. Okay, so we're getting closer, but you can see this 4th one doesn't go up here. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then there's a little space in between here. So you think, okay, if each of these are 25%, the whole thing's 100%. If you have whatever width these are, they're not gonna allow this 4th one to go up there. So you might think, okay, the browser is applying something by default. So maybe you want to clear out the margins, and the padding, the defaults for these. Still didn't go up there. So this is a weird thing that happens with inline block, and it's one of the reasons that it's really hard sometimes to use inline block for doing layouts this way, because this little space here that's being added is the browser detecting the white space between these 2 divs here. See how I brought these all up on that line like that and that went away? I brought it back and now that space is there. So this is really annoying with layouts. So a better way to do this is to use floats. So I'll take out this display inline block here, and I want all of them to float up and go to the left of the next one. So I'll do float left. All right, now I got them all 4 in a row there. A little trick is whenever you float all the children like that, you normally want to do something like overflow auto, because then if you were to add any content like after this, here actually I can probably just show you. So you can see each of these, I took out this background lime here, so all you're seeing is the background color of the whole row that contains all of these. So if I go over to the console and I inspect this and just look at this div here, you can see that it has a height and a width set, a height of 73.600, when I float all the children inside of it, now look over here, see it's a 0. So it doesn't think that there's a height. So when you have all of the children as floated elements, the parent doesn't think it has any children anymore. It's a weird CSS thing. So a workaround for this is to set overflow to auto. And so now you can see that it has a height again. And these all look correct. So if I want to add this background line back in there, I can do that. So that's a weird trick for doing columns in a layout. And say you wanted a second row below that, you could do, fix that formatting. Okay, so now you have 2 there. All right, there we go.